Fitastic people, welcome to another segment of In the Kitchen with Wild Will. So today we're going to focus on something decadent that typically, living a healthy lifestyle, we don't have. Chocolate. And not any kind of chocolate, chocolate in cake form. So typically chocolate cake, high in fat, high in sugar, but tastes oh so good. Can't have it though. You want to live a healthy lifestyle, you want to be fit, you're cutting for a show, anything along those lines, pre-diabetic, chocolate cake, sadly, is no longer on the menu. Until now. So today we're going to work on a chocolate cake that's still going to be super moist, still yummy to taste, still decadent, but it's good for you. We're going to mix it with whey protein, and among other different ingredients that we substitute in, it's going to make it better for you. So let's get started with the dry ingredients, shall we? So first one is going to be 1 cup of coconut flour. 1 cup coconut flour. There you go, pretty simple. Next one is 1 cup whey protein. I use a chocolate whey protein, obviously to go with a chocolate cake. So 1 cup in there. And then to give it that chocolate taste without adding extra much chocolate, we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of unsweetened cocoa. Add it in there. Good stuff. And now we're gonna add 1/4 cup Truvia. So Truvia is, a sugar substitute, plant-based, kind of like the stevia leaf. I like this one a lot. If you want to use Splenda, go ahead, but go with Truvia. Just trust me on that one. Put that in there. There are your dry ingredients. Then to help it rise, we've got your good old baking soda. Just pulled out of the fridge. Got 1 good old teaspoon. So remember here, I'm not a cook. I'm not a chef. I don't go to culinary school. Doesn't mean you can't still make delicious, healthy items. Yeah, you might not be the perfect chef in the country, or maybe not one of the worst cooks in America, but hey, it's your kitchen. We're here to find ways to make unhealthy food healthy for the average person, all right? For you chefs out there, if you're going to go nuts over some things, it's fine. All right, and then 1/2 cup, add that baking soda in there. So those are all of our dry ingredients. We want to keep our dry ingredients separate for right now. We want to take a wire whisk. Just going to whisk that all together. Mix them all in really nice. Trying to get a good look at that. We'll mix all those dry ingredients. Make it a lot easier when we're actually mixing it in the kitchen itself. Now we're going to move on to our wet ingredients, if you will. So first one is going to be 3/4 cup of Greek yogurt. You can use Chobani, whatever brand you prefer, but just get it plain. Don't get any kind of, chocolate or strawberry or anything along those lines. So 3/4 cup is 1/4 cup 3 times. Put that in there. So Greek yogurt is a great substitute when you're baking with a lot of dessert style things. Because Greek yogurt is going to give it that moist consistency that you like to have in chocolate cake or any kind of cake, and without drying it out. So there's that. Get out of there. And my handy recipe right here in front of me. So now we're going to go on to 1 cup of water. Okay, you want it, for any kind of cake, you want to be a little bit moist. Best part about water, no ingredients, no calories, none of that fun stuff that you have to worry about. There's that 1 cup of water. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, give it that kind of the cake taste, if you will. Boom. And then finally, 1 cup of almond milk. Dark chocolate, almond milk. Any brand that you prefer, but definitely get a chocolate. If you want to make a vanilla cake, obviously swap out all the vanilla ingredients for chocolate ones. Fill that up nice. Good stuff there. So now we're going to head over to the KitchenAid. You don't have a KitchenAid? That's fine. I'm lucky enough to have one. You can use beaters, anything along those kind. We're going to head over now, so we're going to blend up the wet ingredients first before we add the dry ingredients. So hop on over. Like I said, I am blessed to have one of these. Having one of these is not a requirement. Any kind of mixer or whatnot will be just fine. But so we just want to blend it a little bit. Just the wet ingredients, get them kind of blended up. Greek yogurt sometimes can be a little chunky, so you just want to get it a little nice and blended right here. Nothing major there. Pull out now. I'm going to take my bad boy here. I'm going to quick. Now add the dry ingredients. So all your dry ingredients mixed up in here. Here's your dry ingredients. Put the whisk back on. Now don't do what I did when I was a kid and crank it right up to level 10 and then have it splatter over you. It may sound fun, but the cleanup part not so much. So slowly get it blended. There we go. And let the KitchenAid do its thing. It's gonna blend it up. Nice and thick. There we go. Again, a cake batter should be somewhat thick. You don't want it to be too runny. If it's too runny, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to bake it in the right amount of time. It's going to have a really runny cake. Nobody wants a runny cake. Now you will get some on the side a little bit, so just pull up, get a little spatula, and knock it over a little bit. You want it to be fully blended. The last thing you want is to bite into a cake and be like, that was flour. That tasted really good. You don't want that. That tastes good. Trust me. There you go. Now that it's nice and dense and you're a little bit higher, really make sure it's all blended together. Get a good look at that blending. It's a beautiful thing, my friend. All right, I think we've beaten that dead horse. So I'm going to take it out. And again, this should be somewhat. You can kind of see this consistency here. It's still somewhat runny, but it's still kind of taking it a while to drop off. You don't want it to be pure liquid, all right? So let that do its thing here real quick. I'm gonna get my baking pan ready. So you just take a basic cake pan, 9-inch dish, very simple. Now you wanna make sure you grease this. The first time I made this, I tried to pull it out, it was destroyed. So again, I'm gonna use some kind of Pam or kind of cooking spray. If you want to add a little more fat to it, you can add butter, you can add the olive oil, that whole nine, but that's up to you. So make sure you really get it nice and near, and the sides too. Very good. Now all these directions, in case you forget, are all on Fitastic.com, so you don't need to be writing them down mad in a notebook. Now, let's get the cake batter. So you take the whisk and just kind of do whatever you want with it. Get some of that excess cake batter off there. A little bit on to lick the bowl with, that's fine. So now we're going to take it over, use the handy dandy spatula, and scoop it all on in. Look at that. Oh, doesn't that just look yummy? You guys are going to come to find I enjoy the word yummy. Maybe a 29-year-old male, but the word yummy still applies. Good stuff. Now, you want to get all of it, again, unless you want to be greedy and try to lick the bowl. But you can see here, this looks just like regular cake batter, because it is still a regular cake, just not made the regular way. So we're going to fill all that in there. Try to get as much of it out of the bowl as you possibly can. You don't want to have a lot of leftovers in here, because you want the cake to completely bake. I think we're good there. So now you want to just make sure that it's nice and even. All right? Just kind of even it out a little bit so your cake bakes evenly. Look at that. Put that back in there. That will be definitely licked later. All right, now we're going to put this in here. And as you can see, the oven is at 350 degrees. That's going to go in for 35 minutes. And we are set. All right, cake is in the oven. So we got about a half hour. All right, so now we got to come over here and do one of my favorite things in the world. We got to clean the bowl because we got to make the frosting. But first, I'm going to have a little taste. Some good stuff. I'm telling you right now, you should be all super jealous if you make it along with me, because this is really good. And if you excuse me, I'm going to have this now. So I'll check with back you guys in 2 minutes, alright? Alright, so frosting is made, cake was made, cake is now baked. And we're pulling the cake out of the oven. Now what you want to do here is take like a toothpick or something along those lines or a knife, jam it in that cake, pull it out. If it comes out clean, it's done. If there's still a lot of gunk on it, guess what? Your cake isn't done yet. Put it back in the oven. So let's pull this bad boy out. Ooh. Well, she looks yummy, doesn't she? That's good stuff right there. So now we want this to cool before we put frosting. Now you have two options here. You can either frost it while it's in the pan and just serve it straight from the pan, that's fine. Or if you want to put it on a plate and then frost it, that's fine too. Now what I'm doing here is cutting around the edges because I'm going to flip it. Now this is where it gets a little tricky, kids, so let's be honest. We could flip this and it could still be kind of stuck in the pan a little bit and not look too pretty. But luckily, there's frosting to fix that. The main thing, we don't want it to fall out in pieces. So like I said, we want to make sure it's done. Pull it out. See how that knife is nice and clean? No issues there. Looks good. So again, we want it to cool. I want to kind of come around. If you properly buttered or panned or whatever it is you want to do to your pan, it should come out just fine. Some other techniques that you want to do, and make sure you re-grab your mitt so you don't burn yourself. This one, my lovely wife, Heather, hi Heather, showed me how to do. But just to make sure it all comes out, is you kind of drop this a little bit, and that's going to release some of the cake, or at least it should. All right? So let's hope this comes out together, otherwise we made a mess. So here we go. Take a plate, put it over, flip it, and then, again, you want that to come off. Just take a gander here. So right here is when I get paper towel. Step over and grab paper towel to use so I don't burn my hands, because using the mitt sometimes can be a little bit tricky. There's a little bit stuck on this side. And if we don't want it to come out in pieces, let's say it does come out in pieces, just mix the frosting in there, call it mud pie. There you go. Oh. All right. Good stuff. Now, as you can see here, there's a little bit extra on here. So it didn't completely cook all the way through. It happens. Again, not a chef. So, what we've got here now is a little bit opening, not a big deal. We're still gonna let it cool, or if you really want to, you can scrape this in there, put it back in, whatever you wanted to do. But the frosting, I'll help kind of cover this up a little bit. All right? This happens. Again, if it's not perfect, it's not that big a deal. You're making it for you and your family. I'm sure they love you. All right? So we're gonna let this cool, and then we're gonna put the frosting on it. So I'll check back with you in a moment. All right, and we're back. So the cake is cooled off, but again, a little bit of hole in here. Not that big a deal. We can fix that with this wonderful frosting. Again, this is the beauty of being in the kitchen with Wild Will. It's a little wild, it's a little crazy, but it's not perfect. It's real, and that's what we want you to know. That not everything has to come out perfect. Not everything has to be the best, thing in the world. So what I'm doing here, spatula, we're gonna put in the middle. We're gonna kind of make like a middle kind of frosting cake here. Paula Dean, eat your heart out. So once again, you want to get all the frosting. Just kind of put it right in the middle here, kind of make a middle frosting cake, if you will. Because at the end of the day, it's really about how it tastes. I mean, am I right or am I right? Now for those of you with kids, if this happens, it's called a molten lava cake, right? All right, we're gonna take the spoon here, kind of smooth it all around. Now again, I am no culinary expert. I'm just a man with a recipe and a desire to have abs. So all I really care about is the taste, the quality of the ingredients, and the macros behind it. So keep frosting all around. So you see how we make a mistake? Not really a mistake, but we make a setback look good. Same thing with your workout habits. When you're working out, will every workout be perfect? No. But as good old Coach Steve says, the only bad workout is one that didn't happen. Alright? So we're going to call this bit of the day. I'm going to get my spatula back out. I still want it to be somewhat looks nice, right? Smooth it all around. And you can kind of do, now if you don't want to do the frosting, you don't have to do the frosting. You can do just the cake itself. Believe me, it tastes well. Just ask for hot because he just had a bunch of it. And there we go. We're going to call it a day. So that, friends, we're now going to call my peanut butter frosting in the middle cake. Alright? So now we're going to get a little piece of it. Doesn't she look yummy? So again, you want a cake to be moist. You want it to have, if you like, a plate. You want your cake to be moist. You want it to taste like a cake. You won't be able to fool the kids, right? Or maybe even fool yourself. Here we go. Kind of look at the inside of this beautiful, beautiful cake. I'm gonna get some frosting there. Ooh, who doesn't like extra frosting? So let's kind of look at the inside here, shall we? Nice and moist. Frosting just sinking on in there. Now comes my favorite part. As we all know, the tasting. So once again, oh, that's good. That's decadent. That's yummy. So, thank you for joining me in the kitchen, once again with Wild Will. It's all about taking foods that normally are bad for you, are decadent, you can't have, or are cheap, and making them work with different ingredients. Greek yogurt, ricotta cheese, all simple. Also, fairly inexpensive as well, and not very time-consuming to make. So go home, make your chocolate cake, go buy the ingredients, do what you gotta do, make it, let me know how it goes. Let us know on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, take your pictures. I want to see what your cake looks like. See if you know. You did a better job than I did. I just want to know. Your feedback is important to us. Alright, so join me again next week for another segment of In the Kitchen with Wild Will. It'll be a surprise. But something tells me it'll be along the lines of almond-coated chicken nuggets. Remember everyone, be healthy, have fun.